Bringing us home today is Pure Hydrogen, ASX PH2, with the market capitalisation of around $54.5 million. Presenting today is Scott Brown, the Managing Director. Pure Hydrogen is a clean energy-focused company seeking to become the leader in the development of hydrogen and energy projects. Scott, please take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity to present today. My name's Scott Brown. I'm Managing Director of Pure Hydrogen. I've got a short video that I'm going to start right now, just to give you an idea of what we're doing. We're very focused on zero emissions and the transition, and this will give you an idea of some of the products that we have available.
Australia's first hydrogen-powered prime mover is ready to hit the streets of Brisbane, ready to usher in a new era for green transport in the Sunshine State.
Introducing Pure Hydrogen, your go-to provider of Australian-designed, cutting-edge hydrogen fuel cell and battery electric commercial vehicles. Our advanced electric vehicles feature vehicle-to-grid technology, allowing you to return power to the grid during peak times and recharge when energy is cheaper, maximising efficiency and savings. Our flagship model, the Taurus Prime Mover, can be fitted with a 300 kilowatt 6x4 hydrogen fuel cell truck. This powerhouse has a 600 kilometre range, payload of up to 70 tonnes, and a refuelling time of only 15 minutes, all while delivering zero emissions. For councils and construction sectors, our hydrogen fuel garbage, concrete and rigid trucks operate with minimal noise and can handle between 20 to 30 tonnes, offering a quiet yet powerful solution. For passenger transport, we provide various battery electric and hydrogen fuel cell buses, including mini, city and coaches. Whether you need to move people in a city or rural setting, we have the solution tailored to the energy sources available to you. We offer flexible financing options for our partners, making it easier than ever to invest in clean energy transportation with monthly instalment plans available. Our team of experts are ready to design a customized zero-emission vehicle solution for your specific commercial needs. We provide ongoing maintenance and can even be your hydrogen fuel supplier. Get in touch with us today to discover how Pure Hydrogen can drive.
So I've got a deck, so I'll just onto that. Yeah, so look, we've got three aspects of our hydrogen business. What you saw in the video was a number of different vehicles that we've got. We've got a prime mover that can capture will carry up from 15 to 70 tonnes. It's a hydrogen fuel cell prime mover that we use Ballard fuel cells. We also have developed a garbage truck that can also, it's also using the same fuel cells, and that could be used in a rigid capacity as well. So that's one aspect of our business, which is having the vehicles, zero emission vehicles. So we've got a range of those. We can do both truck and bus. Both hydrogen fuel cell and also battery electric, as we've indicated in that video. We also have a new area that we've just started, which is hydrogen equipment, because one of the things we've found, and very much we want to provide a solution to customers, is people not only want to buy those vehicles, they also want hydrogen equipment to either have on their premises or have close by, so they can refuel these vehicles, and we're happy to sell the equipment to potential customers, and obviously make a fee out of doing that. And then finally, the third aspect of our business is setting up hydrogen production and distribution, and we hope to do that certainly on the east coast of Australia with a plant that we're planning at Archerfield in Brisbane, but we'll replicate that in certainly Melbourne and Sydney in due course. So that's really our business in a snapshot. In terms of if you could go to the next slide, please. In terms of the compelling investment propositions, the reason why we think we're an extremely attractive investment proposition at the moment is we've got an established technology base. So we've worked out how to make all the technology work together and work in those vehicles. And that has taken a fair bit of time, the last 3 years, to really nail. We don't think it's something that people can easily replicate. They're going to have to put a fair bit of time and effort and also dollars. And so that is certainly, a significant, compelling moat that we have available to us. We also now have a considerable number of firm orders and a growing pipeline. I'll get to that in a minute. The other thing is we're very much looking to grow an international exposure. This is an international story. It's not just an Australian story. And we now do have very good established capacity. We can do 200 vehicles per month, and we hope to grow that over time. The other thing I would say is the whole hydrogen and zero emissions. It's early days. We're right at the beginning of what we think will be a tremendous growth spurt, and it's spurred on by government stimulus all around the world. In Australia, there's something like $22 billion earmarked, but the money in other jurisdictions is much more substantial, particularly the US and Europe, and they're a major focus for us. Next slide, please. So some of the things we've done in the last 12 months, we've put in place a trial on that truck you saw in the video with Pepsi. We've signed a deal with Bowen Water. We've got trials happening with JJ Waste or JJ Richards. Solo Resources are taking 2 garbage trucks, and we've also got a garbage truck going to the city of Newcastle. And then the bus space, we see a lot of potential. We've already delivered vehicles into New South Wales Transport and Sapphire Coast. Next slide, please. So I mentioned we're building our first micro hub in Archfield Airport, and that will be able to refuel vehicles and also aircraft and anything that requires hydrogen. Next slide, please. Some of the things, as I mentioned, that customers are requesting is very much in the hydrogen equipment area. We're happy to sell or rent this equipment. So it includes electrolyzers, generators, refueling, and pods. Next slide, thanks. So these are some of the customers that we've signed up. We have agreements with. And as you can see there, some very big companies there. If you look at the size of the fleet and the potential follow-on orders, this can scale to be a very significant business very quickly as we progress delivering vehicles and hydrogen equipment into customers. Next slide, please. So this is some of the growth trends. As I said, we're in the early part of this. We think we're very well positioned to be a major player in the hydrogen market over time, and the growth rates expected are going to be very significant. Next slide, please. So we're already one of the things we have is a 70% ownership in H-Drive, who is the assembler or manufacturer of these vehicles. We control that company, but we're very much looking at deals all throughout the globe, and some of the countries down are below there on that slide to give you an idea. We've got conversations going with many different counterparties throughout the world. All right, next slide, please. So what we're doing with these vehicles is really using the best components we can find throughout the world. We use, at the heart is a Ballard fuel cell. Ballard is the #1 fuel cell company in the world. But a lot of these components are very, come from US companies and very well known throughout the world, and hence that's very much part of trying to make sure that we're giving the absolute best product that we can, a high quality product. Next slide, please. So these are some of the vehicles that we have in the range that you would have seen in the video. Now, I will stop there. There are some other details in our slide deck that's available on our website, and also you can get from the ASX. We have announced this set of slides to the ASX. So, Peter, is there any sort of questions at all?
Scott, firstly, thanks for the presentation. There are some questions. The first one is in relation to your competitors. Firstly, who are the competitors and how do they compare with pure hydrogen in terms of market share?
That's a really good question. Look, there are some traditional OEMs that have demonstration vehicles, but they haven't commercially released them. And the only real competitors are in the US. There was a competitor here called Hyzon. They've gone broke, or the Australian arm's gone broke, and so they've withdrawn from the Australian market. So there's Hyzon in the US. They're just concentrating on that US market. There's a company called Nikola, but they're mainly focused on battery electric, not less so on hydrogen fuel cell. There's a couple of smaller companies in the EU, but they certainly don't have the depth of and the number of vehicles range. We did invest in a company called H2X Global. We still own 16% of that company. They are developing vehicles that are much smaller. So, they've got a ute and a sort of a small delivery van. We're sort of focused on the bigger range, so your prime movers, your garbage trucks, and your buses. So that's a very different range to what they're focused on. So hopefully that answered the question there.
That does. And just moving on to partnerships, can you elaborate on your partnerships with these high-profile vehicle parts manufacturers, and how do these partnerships enhance your operations?
Yeah, so Ballard are very careful about who they partner with, and we're very pleased to have that relationship. Look, generally we've got very good relationships with all those people that I put up on that slide, and we're being keen to foster the absolute best in the industry, and that's the quality of the product is tantamount to that. So we want to focus on the top companies and also the government agencies. That's where our business is. They want something that's extremely reliable and is going to do the job, and that's really what we're keen to do. Look, I think there are other people trying to get into particularly the fuel cell business, and so we're being approached by other vendors. Most of them would be household names, particularly big car manufacturers. So we'll see what happens, but there's a lot of interest in what we're doing, not just in Australia, particularly international, more so than probably Australia.
And just on that international landscape, how do you plan to tap into the US and the European markets?
So with the US, we've got a 3 dealerships we've signed up, that will sell our products into the US. We also have a sales executive in the US. We have a sales executive in Sweden as well. So we've actively signed deals. You would have seen in Vietnam. We've signed a dealership in UAE. Look, over time, we will probably have distributors in other markets around the world. There's certainly a lot of conversations going on, and we did sign an MOU with one of the states of Brazil, Pali. Yeah, there's a lot of activity, and we hope in due course that leads to firm sales.
Scott, and just looking ahead to the next 6 to 12 months, what key news flows can investors expect?
Look, what you can expect is we will have additional sales to what we've already announced. You also will see, for example, the Pepsi truck has gone into trials with Pepsi. That's a paid trial by them. Other vehicles will be deployed, particularly the garbage trucks. We hope within the next 6 months you'll see at least 5 hydrogen fuel cell garbage trucks deployed in Australia. So I think overall we're looking to build out this business and deliver and execute on what the promise that we've got and the opportunities are out there.
Scott, thank you so much for presenting.
Terrific. Thanks very much, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity to put our presentation forward today.